Do you have any other industry tips and tricks you can do? I have a feeling people will like those.
So we're talking about industry stuff, eh? That's a pretty good theme for this episode, I guess. Uh, God, let me think back on a lot of stuff.
We could talk about like how the industry's changing and everyone's shitting their pants.
Yeah, I mean, there's we're kind of touched on it a little bit that it's the number how much it costs to make a game is going up,
And the number of people who can sell games that don't cost a lot of money has gone down.
yeah, and it's kind of there's basically when we started, and this might just be me talking out of my ass. This is how it felt for sure.
Did you have to walk to school in the snow uphill both ways?
There was a wide spectrum in terms of quality of games, where you had your AAA games.
Right. The games that get 80s and 90s, the AAA games.
You had your budget games.
Right. Like
the ones you see in the bin at Walmart. Some games that cost $10. You had that.
Right.
And then you had a bunch of the ones in the middle. A lot of games that got 70s to 80s that weren't perfect, but that did well. That didn't cost too much money. Pretty good. And there was a wide spectrum of games out there. And it seems like at this point there's games on your phone, and then there's Call of Duty. Right? You have the games that are made with two people that sells for $1 on a phone.
Right.
And then you have these games that are gigantic teams, tons of money, tons of marketing, tons of support from the publisher, and the in-between is gone.
And since one of the two things are the games on your phone, we're also seeing a lot less success in handheld games. Like a lot of people have moved from things like the DS or the Vita to just playing games on their Android or their iPhone.
Yeah.
So Apple's been eating everybody's lunch. Mid-range games aren't selling as well as they used to. Nobody even knows if the next generation of consoles will be something anybody will care about. So it's kind of scary.
Right. Well, it's just, even if you look through, recruitment letters are part of life at this point.
Right.
You're in the games industry for a little while. People are going to send you recruitment letters no matter what you do.
Right. They see your name in the credits, they look you up, and then they try to call you.
And those recruitment letters used to come from places like, Epic or Microsoft or Ubisoft or whatever. But now it's Zynga or whatever other...
Playdom or Rovio.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, any of the big mobile players or
those
Facebook
are the only
names.
people that are out there, growing.
Yeah.
Or at least growing to the extent where they're actually out there recruiting.
That's the only place you see startups anymore. I mean, you don't really see people making AAA startups.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not the most lucrative way to go at this point. You're looking at a lot of risk if you're trying to jump into the AAA game.
Well, and it'll be very difficult as a startup to get a publisher to take the risk on you. Like
right.
you gotta be like the guys at Respawn. You gotta have a history,
a pedigree.
Yeah, and there's got to be some equity in your name or in the people who've worked with you, because there's nothing in your studio.
But yeah, that's the way I see it right now when I look at sort of where games are going, is that I feel like that middle ground is sort of washing away, and I think there are a lot of good games that live in that middle ground.
Yeah. And your open world games used to mostly fall into that middle ground.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot less of those. What was the company in Rhode Island that was trying to make an MMO?
Oh, Kurt Schilling's company.
Yeah, they made a successful game. It wasn't their MMO, but the rest of it just took them out of business.
Well, the thing was that game was really interesting because it was well reviewed.
It was successful, yeah.
Sold reasonably well. Didn't sell insane.
Yeah.
But that wasn't enough. Clearly the fact that they were banking on a big MMO didn't help. But the fact that they made a game that reviewed well and sold reasonably well wasn't enough for them to get a sequel to that game. And that was one of the big things that's been down, is apparently they were in discussions to try to make a sequel, and were having trouble signing the contract.
And usually when people hear that, they say, well, why don't they make it less expensive? And, like, it's not that they're, for the most part, it's not that they're spending too much money. I mean, generally speaking, people know how much games should cost. It's pretty well established at this point. And just to get enough people to make enough good-looking assets for a PlayStation 3 game or an Xbox 360 game, and to make that long enough that someone's going to want to buy it in a box for $60, it's hard.
It is difficult. It's a hard road to hoe.
And you know, like, we're starting to see more experiments with people putting things at different price points and on different platforms, and a lot of people are really excited about the free-to-play but microtransactions thing, and that seems to be pissing off the consumer, you know. So it's hard to tell what's going to go on.
Well, it's an interesting thing right now, because I mean, Riot is doing super well, and they're on the verge of emerging as a sort of a big player.
Right.
But,
and for those who don't know, Riot's the group who does League of Legends.
League of Legends, and I mean, they're making a ton of they're doing well in League of Legends, and they're emerging as a big time sort of publisher right now. But the question is, of course, where is the breaking point on that? Like, there's not a lot of free-to-play games out like League of Legends right now, and there's a lot more coming in the next year or so.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you have like Dota 3, and you have League of Legends, you have Dota 3, you have, I forget the other ones. There's like 2 other ones. And so how long will this sustain, and how long will it hold up is sort of the big question. I mean, you talk to back when EverQuest was doing well, it seemed like the back on MMOs wasn't going to break anytime soon.
Right.
And all it really took was World of Warcraft to just be like, okay, that's the last one. Like, the rest of these aren't going to do well anymore.
Never again.
This one is the winner, and the rest of these are just ways to lose money.
Does that ever make you feel good, Tony, that you ruined the MMO market with your work?
I only helped ruin the MMO market.
What? You didn't make that game yourself?
No, not entirely.
You're so lazy. Why are you so lazy? What else do we want to talk about?
I don't know. We can talk more about industry insider stuff, but I don't know what you got to talk about.
We can end here and then do another one about more industry stuff. Or we could wait until we get some questions in the comments and do another one.
Yeah, that might be fine.
Okay, so anyway, since we have to split it up for this issue of Developer Commentary, I'm Mike Stout.
And I am Tony Garcia.
And we'll catch you for the next one.
We were so close to the end of the arena. This would be a horrible time to cut it out. You're on round 15?
Well, unless I lose.
Well, look, maybe you'll win.
What are the odds of that?
Let's end on a high note. Well, you're not doing good now. I think I jinxed you.
You always do that. Oh, God.
You're doing so good. You're on the road for a perfect. Hey, you won. See?
I won. Yay. All right, so for reals then.
Wait, do you now have enough for the rocket launcher?
Let's see. No, not even close. 150 grand,
geez.
and we've got 80 grand.
Yeah, we're done.
All right, so we're done.
Give us a funky, fresh sign-off, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, you're on the spot now. This is what you've done to yourself.
Just by saying what's up?
Just by saying what's up.
I'm going to rue this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so for Developer Commentary, I hate my partner, Tony Garcia, and I'm Mike Stout. And fuck you, Tony. We're out. Peace out.
Peace out. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Really funny, sorry.
Yeah, Mary laughed at that
I
one.
didn't mean to laugh so